Okay, let's talk a little bit about the jam track itself. Turn my single coil P90 down a little bit. So throwing some buzz there. Sorry about the beginning there. I didn't realize that I didn't have this microphone on. I'm just getting into this YouTube live thing, and I just got some new equipment, so bear with me as we get some technical bugs worked out. There was a little feedback in there. I'm juggling a lot of things at one time. So let's talk a little bit about kind of like how I hear this and what my sort of thoughts on this. First of all, I want to preface this by saying that I'm no Guthrie Govan, as you probably could tell from that intro. I'm just a working guitar player like the rest of you guys out there in guitar land, and I'm learning as I go as well. So let's talk a little bit about kind of how I see this and kind of how I hear this. When I see Mixolydian, I immediately transpose it in my mind to the actual diatonic key that Mixolydian is in. So this says A Mixolydian, which is really just a little distracting. I'm going to pause that. Is really just the key of D. And if you look at the chords, there's an A, a G. These all could be thought of as the key of D. So if you play notes diatonic to the key of D and you think key of D, you're going to have all natural notes except for the F sharp and the C sharp. So almost anything you play there is going to work pretty well. Yes, there's going to be better resolutions than others, but this is a just the kind of general. This is a kind of getting started. This is kind of where I start. So when I see Mixolydian, I think, okay, well, what key is that actually in? Because I don't like to think about too many. You can't be thinking too much when you're like sitting down to solo. When you're really going to play something, you can't be trying to put all this stuff together. You kind of have to well, what's the simplest? What's the path of least resistance? Key of D. However, now there is a modulation in this, even if you do key of D, or even if you think Mixolydian, however you want to, there is a modulation, because the second chord is this C sharp minor, or C sharp minor 7, however you want to play it. Yeah, I believe it's it's right up there on the screen. It's a C sharp minor 7. Which is not, C sharp minor 7 is not diatonic to the key of D. It's actually like a C sharp diminished or half diminished, depending on you theory guys out there, what you're thinking about it is. In other words, instead of the G sharp note, there's a G natural there. So this is technically a key modulation. So we're in the key of D here, starting on the... Now, how I think of this, how I do this, now, again, you do the way you like, is I think this is a modulation of the key of A natural, with playing C sharp minor as the third chord in the key of A, with the chords in the key A, B minor, C sharp minor. So that's a quick modulation for one chord. Because if you try to play C minor, you end up with that D sharp note, and that will clash. That won't work. And then back to my opinion, when it goes to G, it goes to back to the key of D, and then D in verse. So there's a quick modulation. So that's how I think of it, and that's how I'm playing over it. When you go to the bridge, it goes then there's that E minor. I just think of the E minor as the 2 chord in the key of D. So I'm still in D. I'm still thinking D. But I just resolve it to whatever notes are in the particular chord that are being played at that time. So even though it's the key of D, it's being resolved. If I'm landing on a G, I'm landing on a G. If a G, a B, or a D. If I'm landing on the A, I'm landing on a C sharp, an A, or an E, to kind of get the resolutions in there. Another thing I want to point out, another thing I want to point out about this jam track is, if you follow this, there's a chromatic thing going on here, which is really neat. It's chord progression. So there's A. So when you get a C sharp, you have G sharp, which is chromatic down. one half step. When you go to G, you have G. Wait a minute, there's one more. When you go to D, you have the F sharp, so you've got this movement. So you can do chromatic things there too. Also, the other thing I want to point out this is really the chord changes. At least the first half of this is really the chord changes to Fooled Around and Fell in Love. It's probably not the same key, but it is the same chord changes. You must have been known about a million girls. Love them and leave them alone. It's those chord changes, so you can play that type of thing over it. This is also what's also really cool about elevated jam tracks, just in general, is they give you 10 minutes to kind of like, you know, if you really are trying to work things out, they give you a nice long time to do that. I'm gonna jam on it a little bit again and try to point some different stuff out as I go along. Thing I don't do a lot on this is play like A blues, but I'll show you where it will work really well. Just give me a second. Wait for it to come around on the guitar, guys. Now watch it here. You can do some bluesy stuff there. It's all in the resolution, guys. It's all in how you go ahead and resolve the thing, as opposed to what notes you play in between the resolutions. Okay, so you can, my old guitar teacher, Tony Janflo, used to say, there are no wrong notes, just wrong resolutions. So go ahead and enjoy this. I put a link to it in the description down there. Go back and jam out to it. I'd love to know kind of like how you guys think about it, because there are a million different ways probably of thinking about these handful of chords. There's, you know, and how you get your mind around them can allow you to create different sounds. There's more stuff I could do. In the interest of brevity, I'm going to keep this short. This is my first foray into doing a little jam track review, but I've been a jammer for a really long time, and I love Elevated Jam Tracks channel, and I wanted to kind of you know, sort of do this for you guys. So if it goes well, I'm going to be doing more in the future, and hopefully have some of these technical bugs worked out. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to go ahead and shut down my encoder right now, and we'll catch you guys soon. Thanks.